History repeats itself unless we learn from it and change our path. That is the definition of the law of change and the subject of today's 4-card signature tarot reading. Hey everyone, welcome back to the Basic Butch Tarot. My name is Jennifer Rose and I am the head butch in charge here. This is week 5 of my 7-part series of the laws of karma. I wish I knew sooner, and it's all about the law of change. So no doubt a lot of us are feeling it necessary to do a lot of deep interpersonal changes right now, what with the full moon that we just went through, and a couple of astrological aspects that are happening out there in the great cosmos that do absolutely affect each and every one of our energies. So if you're feeling like a change needs to come, let karma kick you in the rear and get it in gear, because, the law of karma says whatever it is that we put out there, we get back. And right now there's an astrological aspect that's saying, we can get some of our karma back to us during this time until like around October 23rd or so. So we are probably paying attention to those things that may not be going right for us exactly. And it may even make us think about, oh, I know why that came back to me, right? So what we want to do at this time is we want to create and make a change. So the next time the energies karmically want to come back and revisit us, it revisits us in a more positive way. And we also leave a better mark on the whole collective of people. Everything that we touch is energy, and we affect that. So why not do it in a positive way for us and for everyone? So let's get into the cards and see what the cards have to say about the law of change today. Okay, so let's get on with this signature 4-card read. Let me explain a little bit here. So this first card that we're going to draw today will be what you learned. And I've got a mirror because it always starts in the mirror. It starts with us. I've got a couple of marbles there with the magnifying glass, just kind of like looking into our minds, looking at us, starting with the person in the mirror. Wonder if I can get myself in that mirror. Hey, I'm starting with you. Okay, so that's what you learned. The second one is a rock, and that's what's blocking you. Okay, so there's a gigantic boulder in the path. What is that? What could it be? The next is a screwdriver, and that is how to remove your blockage. And the last is a Buddha in a little shaky snow globe, because, after we shake it up, everything is going to just fall down and be grounded. I've got a couple of marbles here because we're standing on a new way of thinking, and there's some growth with the green and yellow here. So that final card would be your new path. I have selected my OG Rider-Waite-Smith deck to perform this card reading for the law of change. So let's see here. The first card today is what have you learned? Okay, so you're definitely doing some learning here. You're learning that it starts with you. The moon is all about, doing some really deep interpersonal work on yourself, like that really deep stuff emotionally, fighting with yourself over, what you thought was real and what's really real, just kind of, it's shadow work is what we call it. And it's just, like there's light here, there's the sun and the moon. There is light in the darkness. The moonlight will shed light on the things that, we may need to change about ourselves, that we want to change. Maybe it even lights a path for us to show us how it is that we can have some fruitful change in ourselves, in the way that we think, in the way that we do things. So yeah, the moon, and the moon is a water card, represents Cancer. So if you're a Cancer, you're really doing some deep transitional changing work on yourself, and this is your time. This is your sun sign. This is when you are at your most intuitive. So have at it. If you're a Cancer and you're doing some of these changes for yourself, I applaud you, and it's in the works. Just remember that there is a brightness at the end of the tunnel, And, you know, we get a chance to recreate these illusions. Even if they are illusions, we can create a different path and a different story for ourselves. We don't have to fall for the things that we've always done, the toxic patterns. You know, it's time to do something different, to stop the toxic patterns, and to free ourselves from the toxic patterns. Okay, obviously I had a lot to say about that card. So the next card is, what's blocking you? What is that big rock that's blocking you from doing some change, from, you know, another major arcana card. What's blocking you from doing some change? So introspection. You're looking inside. Sometimes we don't always like what we see, right? And we are looking inside because maybe it is we don't like what we see, you know, like the two balance each other out. I don't know if that makes sense, but so what's blocking us is, you know, that we're in our heads a lot about it, and maybe we just don't act on it. Maybe we know about it. There's been some light shed on it. I mean, there's been some magnification here, right? There's been some light shed on it. And, you know, we just keep looking backwards. We're stuck in the past. We keep, you know, on that same path backwards. Like, we just don't know how to cut that toxic pattern. Like, just, wait a minute. I gotta cut those toxic patterns out of our life. And, you know, I love this because we do need introspection, especially if we're living in a world that we've created that are either illusions that others have created for us, or illusions that we've created for ourselves to make us feel like, to feel better, to feel like it's not just that bad. You know, in reality, sometimes it is just that bad. And, you know, taking some time to think about it is great, but you got to move forward. And the Hermit is looking backwards, looking in the past, and while that's still good, we just can't stay there. So, you know, the Hermit also is, I feel like the Hermit is still looking to the past and sort of these old toxic traditions that we have been doing, you know, in the current time. So that could be what's blocking us, is that we just don't have any, you know, drive or forward motion, or maybe don't have any inspiration. Maybe it is that we need to see what we're surrounding ourselves with, and again, what we're ingesting, to see what could be blocking us from change. Like, maybe it's somebody else's opinion about what you should be doing that's kind of giving you a blockage or giving you some pause. You know, maybe you're going one direction and somebody's like, oh, but look back at this. You know, maybe that's what's happening. And, you know, don't let anybody confuse your path, okay? Like, trust your intuition. Trust your guidance, because that's what you have, and it's usually right. Okay, so the third card we're going to talk about is how to remove this blockage. So what's blocking you is, you know, you're still in this traditional mindset, still living in the past, still repeating the toxic patterns, unable to get out of your head and do some actual action, except for looking backwards or doing the old things, right? Even just standing on your pulpit about it, defending yourself with it. So how do we remove it? How do we get past this, okay? How come I knew that card was going to go? I should have said that. So first of all, I just want to say that these are all major arcana cards, and these are major life-changing cards. So some really great change is upon us, y'all. And for the law of change and the karma read, I think this can only be something positive. So how to remove the blockage is, you know, when I said that maybe it's someone, a friend, it could be a therapist, it could be a family member, whoever. When I said that somebody might be talking to you about this introspective state that you're in, like maybe you've confided in someone, and maybe it is that you're still, even though this person has pointed out some things to you that make sense and you know it's true, you still can't help but take those toxic patterns and live in your life of illusions. And this is asking, you know, to remove your blockage, to take some of that information that's being given to you and listen to it. You know, like, maybe there's some shreds of that information that are the truth that, you know, like, listen, when we're all trying to make changes, you know, we might think we're great at it until something else comes up, and then we are just kind of stuck. We just get stuck and we're like, oh gosh, I don't know how to do that, so I'm just not gonna. You know, what we resist persists. I hear my spouse say this a whole lot, but it's so, so true. So, you know, taking the advice of others, you know, a professional, even a therapeutic professional, or, you know, like a tarot card reader or psychic, you know, take that information and, you know, it's okay to take that information and use it, especially those things that might smart or that, you know, are true. And, you know, give yourself some time. You know, this is the pouring out of the emotions. Like, this is really about just placing your emotion here in this cup and here in this cup and here in this cup, and seeing what works for you, right? Like seeing what your reactions are here versus there. You know, whatever it is that you're working on yourself as far as change and freeing yourself from toxic patterns and giving yourself a better version of you, free from your past patterns, takes a little bit of temperance. And temperance, this could mean with anything that you might be addicted to as well. So if it's food, if it's drugs, if it's, you know, buying things, if it's any of your habits that you have that, you know, you probably are looking into them, please use caution and temperance with that and figure out your good balance there, okay? Figure out your balance, because we've got to go. Like, we're going down this new path, right? Like, here we are Zen, and we are qualified to have a new path, a new life, some better karma coming our direction, okay? No matter what anybody says, we deserve it. We've worked for it, and we're going to get there. So, just the other guidance I'm getting about this is, you know, while we're doing this work, this is really emotional. And I had an experience the other day where I was doing some work, and while it was really fruitful work, and I thought I was getting through it well, and I was like, wow, I got through that without crying. Like, the next morning I woke up, I was pretty stoic about the work I was doing, and I was just like, yay, I'm doing it, I'm finally doing it, I'm getting in this, and I'm taking care of this. And then that morning I woke up at 5 o'clock with nearly a panic attack, and I just cried for 3 hours, because I sat here for hours processing through trauma. And even though I didn't quote unquote process through the trauma itself, I was still reminded of it, okay? And it all just like flooded back to me. And, you know, while I had that day and I took care of myself, I have a really loving spouse, you know, I tried to eat well, and, you know, like I was having problems sleeping, and I just kind of chilled out and, you know, took some space and time for myself. What I wish I knew sooner is that I needed some time to process through that, and I shouldn't have done that just in 3 or 4 hours sitting. I should have really broken up the monotony, but I felt like when I was in it, I needed to continue with it. I don't know if that makes any sense, but you know, when you're doing that work, give yourself a break, and you don't have to work on it all day, every day. Like, especially for me, what I do is I get out of the house and I go in nature, even if it's on my front porch, sit outside, get some sun, 15 minutes of sun, vitamin D, babies. You know, that really helps, especially if you're down working in this, in the depths of your wateryness. Okay. So, all right. So it looks like we've got, you know, some changes to make, and, you know, we got a little bit of blockage here, but we're going to get through all of this by being kind to ourselves and being, you know, balancing all of this work out. And know that this doesn't have to happen overnight. You know, like, give yourself a good, steady timeline, but don't let yourself out of it, because this change, you need this new path, a new future. It's so exciting, okay? All right, okay. New path card. Woo, new path. You're undecided. Like, our new path is still, we're not sure what to do. And, you know, I'm going to have to draw more cards on this. So we're at a place where we feel like we can't possibly make a decision about what path is karmically ours. And this stems from a whole lot of just trauma and abuse from tradition, from culture, from what society says, from the pressures that we've all had placed on us in one way, shape, or form. We all can get into this pattern here and just kind of not thinking that we can go forward, okay? This is not your new path, though. This is your new path. And that's exactly, so this is your path forward. Focusing on the big things, your health and your wealth and your finances and those things that make you stable. So this, you've gotten an idea. So maybe we got to this indecisive a position here on our path, but now we finally got the answer. And if it was money that we felt like kept us back, we got it. If we weren't feeling that well in our body, because stress and anxiety manifests itself in our physical bodies in all sorts of ways. Like for me, it's my stomach. I get migraines. So we've got all that under control and we figured it all out and we're doing better. And now it's time that we go forward into our new path, that we've left this old toxicity behind us. Okay, whatever toxicity that is that you're dealing with right now, that could apply to your life. And I want to say right now, while I'm thinking of it, that these reads are for entertainment purposes only, okay? But I want to draw one more card on this path here. So where are we going? Where are we going? Well, we're going to go find that help. We're going to go ask for help to continue to maintain our health, wealth, and finances. So maybe our new path is, and I immediately got the guidance when I turned this around, maybe our new path is, maybe we haven't actually told anyone about the things that we need to change. And maybe it is that we're speaking our truth. See, like we're stuck here. We don't know if it's time to speak our truth or not. We can't make a decision on when or where or how to do that. Boy, I can identify with that. Like all my creative processes, I'm like, do I podcast? Do I write a blog? Do I do tarot? Do I do a YouTube channel? But we all have to get our information out there. So we've taken a stand. We've figured it out. We've taken care of our business and we're going forward. And now we know that we just need a little bit of help. And there's nothing wrong with asking for help. If it means a therapist, if it means talking to your bestie, your mom, your dad, your uncle, your bestie, your coworker, a stranger, it doesn't matter. We need to be searching for help, and asking for help is absolutely a new path for a lot of us, because we've been taught that asking for help means that we are failures. We've been taught that asking for help, we may not get it because we don't qualify, like we're not too far down in it, or we haven't done this or this, or we're not a part of this organization, so we can't possibly get help. And a lot of those are untrue. And so I think if we can, learn to ask for that help, and it will help us create a new pattern. Absolutely. Asking for help is so very difficult, you all, but please, please, if you're out there struggling, if you need food, if you need help with your heart, if you need, if you need a ride, if you need gas money, if you need diapers for your babies, please, please, please reach out to people. And, the organizations, your neighbor, somebody has that information and the resources that you need, because your new path means you're getting help. And that is really amazing. Getting help and helping yourself. You finally figured out how to do that. You've got the idea, and now you're running with it. And I'm so glad to see that you are going to get some help. So, I'm going to leave this right here. I hope that you are able to work on some of your stuffs in order to change. And if you've been sitting around going, yeah, I've always been meaning to do that, or yes, I know I need to take care of the way that I talk like this, or how I, respond to folks or react to folks, or, just like taking a different way to work. Creating a new path and pattern for you could just really release some toxicity. And, you know, I'm just asking you to really think outside of that box that's been given to us from birth, things that we can't even change, that has come to us through ancestral, through our ancestors and, you know, from our society. Like, we are individuals and we can do as we please, you know, and hopefully we are doing as we please by changing our inner selves to make ourselves more happy. And, you know, we should all feel worthy and excited about our future in this new path. So take this toxic pattern and shove it to the background and forget about it and go forward, y'all, because you can do it, okay? Thank you so much for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed already, please subscribe. Give me a like, give me a heart in the comments. Let me know you're here. Let me know you've heard this. And tell me if you are doing any changes. If this resonates with you, I'd really love to hear from you, okay? Thanks so much and have a great weekend. I'll see you next Friday for Love Read.